Hello students, welcome to today's class and we are reading this very motivational chapter, We Are Not Afraid to Die If We Can All Be Together. So we saw how on 4th and 5th January the weather again worsened, again it got worse, and the children, especially Jonathan, said a very inspiring line to his father. He said, "We aren't afraid of dying if we can all be together, you and mummies, you and I." With this line, the narrator was filled with motivation and he wanted to save everyone. That evening, Mary and I sat together holding hands as the motion of the ship brought more and more water in through the broken planks, and they could not do anything for that. Now there were some wooden pieces which were broken and the water was still coming in, but they were sitting because they could not do anything. We both felt the end was very near, and when you feel helpless, you do not have any resources, definitely the end was approaching. But Wave Walker rode out of the storm, and by the morning of January 6, with the wind easing, I tried to get a reading on the sextant. So luckily, Wave Walker did not get drowned and it came out of the storm, and January 6 the weather was getting improved. He went to have some calculations through sextant. Back in the chart room, I worked on wind speeds, changes of course, drift and current in an effort to calculate our position. So with these manual resources, he tried to know the position. The best I could determine was that we were somewhere in 150,000 kilometers of ocean looking for a 65 kilometer wide island. So they were in that situation, 150,000 kilometers of ocean, and they were just searching for a 65 kilometers, very small width island that was Ile Amsterdam. While I was thinking, Sue, moving painfully, joined me. The left side of her head was now very swollen and her blackened eyes narrowed to slits. So as we know that Sue had some bump over her head, and gradually it was becoming more and more dangerous. Now her left side of the head was completely swollen and the eyes were like slits. They were completely closed due to swelling, of course. She gave me a card she had made. So Sue had made a card for the parents. On the front, she had drawn caricatures. Caricatures, you can say funny drawings, of Mary and me, Mary and the narrator, with the words, "Here are some funny people. Did they make you laugh?" I laughed a lot as well. So this was on the front, just a light-hearted, fun caricatures. Inside was a message, "Oh, how I love you both." So this card is to say thank you and let's hope for the best. Somehow we had to make it. So this 7-year-old child is telling her parents that she loved them both, and she was thanking her parents, and she was also saying let's hope for the best. So you can see how hopeful Suzanne was. Even at that time, at that crisis, she was hopeful. So of course, if somebody in front of you is hopeful, especially the children, then the parents become more hopeful and they try harder to do what they want to do, to achieve what they want to achieve. I checked and rechecked my calculations. We had lost our main compass and I was using a spare which had not been corrected for magnetic variation. So their one compass was lost and second was not working properly. I made an allowance for this and another estimate of the influence of the westerly currents which flow through this part of the Indian Ocean. So he just made a guess with these westerly currents and the flow. About 2 p.m. I went on deck and asked Larry to steer a course of 185 degrees to give the wheel this direction. If we were lucky, I told him with a conviction, just a guess. I didn't feel he could expect to see the island at about 5 p.m. He was not feeling that, but he was just making a guess that within 3 hours they will be able to see the island. He gave some kind of calculations and directions to Larry. Then with a heavy heart, he was very upset, so he was having a heavy heart. I went below in the hatch, climbed on my bunk and amazingly dozed off. Why it is amazingly? Because that was a very tough situation and the narrator went asleep in that situation. When I woke, it was 6 p.m. Okay, it was 1 hour late because at 5 p.m. they were supposed to see the island, and at till 6 p.m. he was sleeping. and growing dark. It was growing dark at 6 p.m. I knew we must have missed the island, and with the sail we had left, we could not hope to beat back into the westerly winds. So he was sure that they must have missed the island and they could not go back again due to these winds. At that moment, a tousled head, a swollen head, appeared by my bunk. Can I have a hug? Jonathan said. Sorry, tousled here means the head which is not combed properly. Sue was right behind him. So Jonathan is asking for a hug and Suzanne is standing behind him. Why am I getting a hug now? I asked. Because you are the best daddy in the whole world and the best captain, my son replied. This is a very important line, a 6-mark question too. Jonathan is saying that you are the best daddy and you are the best captain too. Not today, John, I'm afraid. But narrator said, no, not today, because he thinks that he is asleep by 6 and they must have missed the island. So he is not able to know why he is getting these remarks of best captain and best daddy, because he has done something wrong. He could have found the island, but he went to sleep and he thought that the island had been missed by them. Why? You must be, said Sue in a matter-of-fact voice. You found the island. Suzanne said, why not? Why not today you are the best captain, Dad? Because you have found the island. So they have found the island, but at 6 p.m. What? I shouted. The narrator was more than happy and he shouted, what? He was not able to believe this. It's out there in front of us. They chorused. Chorused means they spoke together. As big as a battleship. So it is just as big as a battleship. I rushed on deck and gazed with relief at the stark, sheer. Stark means sleek. Outline of Ile Amsterdam. So they were able to see the outline of that island. It was only a bleak piece of volcanic rock. It was only a dark piece of volcanic rock with little vegetation. The most beautiful island in the world. So it is said to be the most beautiful island in the world. This is again a very important question. The beauty here lies not appearance wise. The most beautiful island in the world does not mean that Ile Amsterdam was very beautiful. It was not at all beautiful. Okay, it was just 65 kilometers wide and it was a dark piece of volcanic rock and there was less vegetation, but it was beautiful if we talk about its importance for the narrator and his family. That island was a life saver for them. And the thing which is very important to us is always very beautiful to us. In that sense, the island is said to be the most beautiful. We anchored offshore for the night. They stopped their boat and for the night they were there offshore. They didn't go inside. And the next morning, all 28 inhabitants of the island cheered us as they helped us ashore. So in total, there were only 28 people. They helped the next morning the narrator and his family to come out. With land under my feet again, my thoughts were full of Larry and Herb, cheerful and optimistic under the direst stress. So when finally narrator was able to touch the land, he was all okay, he was out of that water, he was out of that boat and he was out of danger too. So when he was safe, he started thinking of the people who had helped in this tough situation, Larry and Herb, who remained cheerful, who remained optimistic, who just thought positively about this situation even under the direst stress. The stress was very direst, was very, you can say, true, because they were approaching death, but still they were optimistic. And then he thought of Mary, his wife, who stayed at the wheel for all those crucial hours. So she did not leave the wheel even at those crucial hours when the wave hit the wave walker. So he thought of Mary, his wife. Most of all, I thought of a 7-year-old girl who did not want us to worry about a head injury, which subsequently took 6 minor operations to remove a recurring means repeating, blood clot between skin and skull. She also thought of just a 7-year-old girl who had so huge injury in her head. She was feeling pain, but still she didn't complain. She was hopeful even till the end. And then he thought of a 6-year-old boy, Jonathan, who was not afraid to die if they were all together. So he thought of all of them, and finally they were out of the danger. And after this was the end of the chapter. This was their journey. After this, the narrator also made another trials, efforts, and he was able to fulfill his dream, okay, in reality. So this was the chapter. In the next video we will be doing the question and answers. Please read this chapter thoroughly, because as I have told you many a times, MCQs play a major role in your score. So for MCQs you have to know the meaning and the importance of each and every line. Create, make maximum MCQs from the chapter you can, and then you will be knowing the chapter thoroughly. Okay, have a good day.